So I'll admit, going into Monsters at Work, I was absolutely hyped. Monsters, Inc. and Monsters University are two of my favorite Pixar films, and the idea that we were going to get an entire series in the monster world, I just couldn't believe it. And after watching the first 2 episodes of the series back in July, I was really excited to see where the series would go. But as the show went on, week after week, I had a few issues with it. Things like the pacing and the structure of the series' overall story seemed a bit off, and Mike and Sully's plotline almost entirely disappeared after the 7th episode. So going into the finale, I was a bit hesitant. Could Monsters at Work really pull together all of its separate threads into a satisfying conclusion for the season? Well, yes! The final episode of Season 1, It's Laughter Thereafter, had everything I wanted from the series since it began, and addressed nearly every concern I'd had so far effortlessly. So let's take a look at how Monsters at Work pulled off a perfect season finale. Today's episode is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Go to expressvpn.com/dimension to get 3 months free on a year-long subscription. Alright, so this perfect season finale video is going to be a bit different than my other ones. Since I thought the season leading up to the finale was a bit rocky, we're going to go over the concerns I had going into the finale and how it managed to blow me away by the time I got to the end. Mike and Sully's role in Monsters at Work started off strong. We followed their struggle as new CEOs, turning the company from scream power to laugh power. They had an interesting B-plot in nearly every episode, providing a perfect balance between the characters that we knew and the characters that were new. And Mike's comedy class was a great button to every episode, providing a fun skit to look forward to each week. But as the series went on, Mike and Sully's role became smaller and smaller as the focus shifted more to Tyler and his journey, especially in episodes 8 and 9. And while Mike at least had the comedy class to keep his character around, Sully felt rather irrelevant in the grand scheme of things even earlier on, as his character didn't have much to do other than be Mike's foil. But from the very start of the finale, Mike and Sully are there. Sully gets an entire scene with Tyler, which I'll talk more about in a bit, and Mike gets to be the one who officially saves Monsters, Inc. through the power of his comedy. This was a really pleasant surprise, and they thankfully didn't try and have a moment where Tyler got to push the number over 1 million and save the day. That was Mike's moment to shine.
10 seconds. 5.
Thank you. Well? Laugh Power is saved!
Nice going, Mike!
Mike and Sully's season-long arc of learning to run Monsters, Inc. is brought to its true conclusion here, as we see Mike's comedy classes having paid off, Sully's management skills working, and a truly vibrant laugh floor just like in the epilogue of Monsters, Inc., which the episode even directly lines up with, which was a really neat twist. Overall, it really captured the feeling of how hard Mike and Sully have been working towards full laugh power for the entire season, and the final countdown is such a fantastic moment for all of these characters, as the success of saving the company really was a team effort. Tyler coming up with the idea for the larger canister, Cutter making the canister, Mike being the best jokester around, and Sully working to manage the business reasonably. The larger container for containing laugh power was actually already established as a canon idea before this episode. In both the original Monsters, Inc. and the Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor attraction at Magic Kingdom, larger canisters are used to collect laughs from people rather than many smaller canisters. You've got Myth to thank for that now, and maybe they'll actually explore the concept of bringing laugh floors to the humans in Season 2. It'd be a logical place to go. One of my biggest concerns with the series so far was that the transition from scare power to laugh power would be completely glossed over in favor of Tyler's story. At the end of Monsters, Inc., we learn that the company has fully transitioned to laugh power, and it's working out really well. But in the show, we're presented with a transition that is very lackadaisical, not really appearing to have much consequence or set time, and not going particularly well. There's no real deadline the show is building towards, it's just a set of comedy classes as Mike tries to train the monsters to be funny. And this would be great if the stakes and reasoning were clearly established. There is a sense that the Monsters Energy Regulatory Commission is keeping an eye on them, but they really only make a big deal out of it one time. Just a basic look at the story will have you ask the question, well, why didn't they just keep some of the scares on board until comedy monsters have been trained? There's multiple laugh floors, right? Why did this change all have to happen at once? And the show never really addressed this. Until now. Sully, who's had far less time to shine than Mike, gets an entire scene to sit down and talk with Tyler in this episode and explain exactly why they can't go back to scaring at all. It's because of Boo and the impact that had on Sully. Seeing the terror in her eyes and the harm the monsters were causing by scaring children.
The fear in her eyes when she was scared. I didn't like what I saw. What I saw in me. Laugh Power is the heart of the new Monsters, Inc. And it's also the right thing to do.
This moment, combined with the fact that we get a set deadline by Roz for when they need to hit 1,000,000 gigawatts, creates the perfect setting for a satisfying conclusion to the story of Monsters, Inc. transitioning from screams to laughs. Also, Roz is the head of Merc, too. Like, Roz is Rose, right? Right? Yeah. What they did with Roz versus Rose this season is hilarious, and I loved every second of it.
Say, Roz, why don't you get Rose over here to celebrate? It's strange, I haven't picked up her scent today.
Called in sick.
She's not sick. You're her, she's you. You just changed sweaters and hair color. Two monsters can't have the same bad breath. Reveal your true identity!
While the season at large may have ignored it for a time, the show perfectly handled tying up all the loose ends of Monsters, Inc.'s transition from scares to laughs. Most importantly being the reason why. And I couldn't be happier about it. It's a fun and interesting detail that we're reintroduced to rival power company Fearco in the series, that still runs on Scare Power. In fact, they're the big threat if Mike and Sully don't prove that Laugh Power is reliable by the end of the episode.
Therefore, we're transferring all power needs to Fearco.
Fearco? They still use Scare Power.
We're not going down without a fight.
One thing I hope Season 2 does is explore why Tyler never saw working at Fearco as an alternative, since they still ran on Scare Power. Was it simply because of his personal invitation to Monsters, Inc. and connection to Sully? In Monsters University, where we first saw Fearco referenced on some of the Scare cards, there's also a throwaway line about FearTech being better than Monsters U. So I'd love to see the lore of the rival schools and companies play out more as the show continues.
It's the best scaring school there is.
You wish. FearTech's the best.
Okay.
This one was one I discussed with other people as the show was airing. To me, the show seemed rather undecided on what it wanted you to root for Tyler to do. You want him to warm up to the Mift family and accept his place there, but you also can't help but feel like he won't be truly fulfilled there since he spends most of the season trying to escape Mift, learn comedy, and being just rather discontent with his situation. While episode 9 set up a nice turn for Tyler as he tries to succeed at Mift-related work for once, it would have felt strange for him to reject being a jokester completely to join Mift. So the finale gave us the best of both worlds. Tyler accepts that his Mift family are his friends, and their bond from throughout the season really shines as they celebrate the fact that he gets to live his dream. But in the end, Tyler's Mift family push him towards doing the best thing for him, which was to follow his dream to be out on the laugh floor. Val, being Tyler's door assistant, fits perfectly with the art given to their relationship, and is very heartwarming and wholesome and good. Fritz has to deal with pushing Tyler to do the right thing instead of the thing that he wants for him, a very fatherly struggle, and even Duncan admits that he'll miss his and Tyler's rivalry. And Cutter works to take Tyler's idea for a bigger canister and make it a reality, so that the company can actually, be around for Tyler to be a jokester. There's a beautiful connection to be found to the message of Monsters University in the ending of Tyler's story. In Monsters University, Mike has to learn that, no matter how hard he tries, he just doesn't have the natural ability to be scary, even though that was always his dream. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, no matter how hard we study or how much we know, we just aren't built for certain things, so we have to work to our personal strengths. This seems to be similar to the message Monsters at Work is going for, but Monsters at Work adds a twist. Sometimes we might not be good at something initially simply because we haven't found our specialty within it. Tyler gets the opportunity to be out on the laugh floor because Miss Flint's daughter found him funny when he crashed into the donut stand. And that's when it clicks. Tyler wasn't good at telling jokes like Mike's class was teaching. Tyler thrived in basic physical comedy, and it took others around him noticing to give him the confidence to join the laugh floor and build on that. Sometimes that's all we need to do well in life. Just one person believing that we truly can do the thing we dream to give us that shot to learn, to gain real experience, for them to also see the potential that we see in ourselves and help us cultivate it, because we can't do it alone. When Tyler starts his day on the laugh floor, he's not filling the canisters even close to full, But as the day goes on, we see him start to try new things, experiment with what he knows works. It's having that real life experience, that opportunity to show what you're capable of and learn to be better with those around you that doesn't come from sitting in a class. And that's the brilliance of this conclusion to Tyler's journey. The final shot is given meaning not because he worked hard to become a jokester, but because Val is there to support and encourage him, because Mike and Sully have been there, understanding his journey and pushing him forward, and because his friends at MIFT sacrificed what they wanted for Tyler to stay with them, to help him do what they knew what he wanted deep down, to be out on the laugh floor. That final shot is so good. It says everything and is nearly on par with the final shot of Monsters, Inc. for me. Alright, time for me to gush about all the other things I loved in this episode. Dominic Lewis's score is phenomenal and pulls out the emotion in every scene. The animation is vibrant and colorful with particularly powerful lighting in the laugh floor. Every scene is filled with so many characters and so much detail, I honestly could not distinguish any of these shots from the original Monsters, Inc. The episode is also incredibly well boarded and cinematic. Not that the dingy MIFT office wasn't cinematic, but, you know, this episode just had a lot of extra flair. The editing style of the laugh floor montage felt right out of the original film, and everything overall just felt very lively and exciting in this episode. There's so many big shots with all of the characters, and we finally get to see Banana Bread again. And the Rose Roz jokes have me cracking up. Mike and Roz's relationship is just so funny to me. I don't know, just like everything about this episode made me happy. I've watched it 3 times already, and I feel like I could just watch it over and over again. It's so sweet and heartwarming, and I teared up watching it the first time, which I did not expect at all. It perfectly balances the premise of the show, following Tyler's journey, with following the transitions from scares to laughs, all while packing in a ton of heart and humor. And if this episode is any indicator of the show's future, then it's truly laughter I'm after. Let me know what you thought of Monsters at Work, Dimension Hoppers. Did you enjoy the series as a whole, or even the last episode? What did you like most, and what do you think they'll do in Season 2? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you back in Dimension 1. I will say, the more that I watched this show for the video and just kind of revisiting it after it was all said and done, the more I liked it. Like, I was very concerned whether or not it was going to stick the landing while I was watching it the first time week to week, but I really do think this show works better on a more bingey style watch, if that makes any sense. Either way, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I put a lot of work into this one, and hopefully next week we'll have the one perfect animated scene with Hilda. Stay tuned for that, and I will see you next time on Phineas Flynn's Not Phineas Flynn's Law, the Second Dimension. Have a great day.